everyone, this is Monica, and these are the top 10 things no one tells you about agents.
9 times out of 10, when you query an agent, you will get a reply. Whether that's a personalized reply or a form letter reply, you will get a reply. But there's like the 1 out of 10 time where you don't get a reply at all. Or you get a reply months and months and months after you started querying. Most of them do, but there's a few out there that do not.
Some agents reply back so quickly it'll make your head spin. So be sure that your manuscript is ready, because if they write back within minutes or hours of you sending out that query, you want to have it ready to send right away. They might really want to read it. You can check out websites like Query Tracker, where other users comment on when they sent their query and when they got a reply, and you can kind of work out a time frame of when an agent is going to reply. But even that's not set in stone, so the best thing is to be prepared.
Just because an agent asks for your full or partial manuscript does not mean he or she will offer to represent you. First of all, if this happens, give yourself a huge pat on the back, because you made it past the slush pile, and that's a huge step, and you should be celebrating that. Drink some wine, watch some Netflix, whatever, buy yourself a new purse. Just celebrate. But do not assume that you're going to have an agent, because they still have to read your stuff and they still have to feel passionate about it enough to be able to sell it. So they need to connect with your writing, and there's no guarantee that they're going to just because they ask to read your stuff.
You don't always have to agree. Yes, they are agents and they're more seasoned and they know more about the industry, but at the same time, this is your baby, this is your book. And while you're willing to change some things, if there is something that you absolutely do not feel comfortable changing, it's okay to voice your opinion. It's totally okay. It's a partnership. So you're working with them. They tell you what they feel, you tell them what you feel. So make sure you just keep that open communication.
A good agent will always give you their perspective on a contract, but ultimately the choice is yours. I'm glad I got this point, because I feel like my agent is such a contract guy. He's super smart, and I always listen to what he says about contracts, because he makes absolutely perfect sense. But ultimately, the choice is mine. He usually ends the conversation with, "As your agent, I can or cannot advise you to sign this." I listen. I choose to listen. But you don't have to. You could be a rebel. But I listen, because my agent's a smart dude.
Just because an agent asks for a phone call doesn't mean you have an agent. I know a lot of us dream about the call, but sometimes they just want to call to feel you out, to see how you would take their ideas about your manuscript, whether you accept them or whether you're willing to work on them. Sometimes it's to offer an R&R. I've gotten one of those. I spoke to an agent over the phone and it was for a revision. So don't go announcing it everywhere that you have an agent, because a phone call does not equal representation.
This one, I think a lot of writers don't really consider. Just because you have an agent does not mean you're going to get a book deal. Agents for sure have a lot more doors open to them than the average individual trying to sell a book. Just because you have an agent, even an amazing agent, doesn't mean that your book is going to sell. There's a lot of other factors to consider. You do have an extra super-powered cheerleader in your corner and someone who's working really hard for you, but doesn't mean it's going to happen. I feel like I'm getting all the super negative points today.
Some agents like to be hands-on and help you edit. Others do not. This is something that you need to discuss on that first phone call, because you want to set your expectations properly. You want to let them know what you expect from them, and they can let you know what they expect from you. And this is one of those points that you definitely need to touch on, because if you go in and they're not an editorial agent and you're expecting someone to be in there with you in your book and you don't get that, you've already signed with this person, and this is something that should have been discussed, and that might bring some issues into your relationship. So definitely talk about that beforehand so that you both know what you're getting into.
I remember when I first started writing, people would talk about agents like they were gods. And, I think that, yes, they do have the power to do something that could vastly alter your life. But they're still people. Like, they have families, they have lives outside of you and your book and their people. So, yeah, cut your agent some slack, because They're people.
Agents generally know more about the industry than we do as writers, so it's safe to say we should probably consider what they have to say before we make any big decisions. If you have an agent, definitely run it by them because they want what's best for you.
That's it for our top 10 list of things no one tells you about agents. If we missed any, please leave them in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And come back every Monday and Friday for new videos. Bye!